Hello, good morning. This is Sam from Physio Central and this is a Pilates class level 1. So this is an easy beginner's class. It's also good if you have a little bit of back pain or neck pain today. That's fine because it's going to be a gentle class. And this is your 10th lesson in the series. It's been 10 weeks since I've been doing these pre-recorded lessons. So I hope you enjoyed them and I hope that you feel that you've kept yourself mobile and fit and strong. And this is your class for today. So we're starting in 4-point knee link today. So we're starting on our hands and knees. Okay. So wrists under our shoulders, knees under our hips. Let's start by gentle hip circles. So taking the hips to one side and back, and then to the other side and front. Working with your breathing, starting gently, moving your hips and your lower back. So taking the hips to one side and back, going over to the other side and forward. And let's do 5 on each side. So let's do 5 starting on the right side and then we turn over onto the other side. Good. So I'm going to change sides now, going to the left first. Back to the right, forward. And again, work with your breathing. Push a little bit your hands into the floor so you feel that your shoulders are also working gently, warming up your body. And one more. Good, and release, and back to center. Let's take our hips back now, and forward. Again, keep pushing those hands on the floor, feeling that the muscles are awake. And you really try to push your hands through the mat into the floor as you take your hips back and forward. Gentle movements, still warming up the spine. No big movements yet, so you don't need to go fully into child's pose yet, okay? Just taking the hips back and forward to start off with. Good, and back to center. From here, let's go into the cat and camel stretch. So, as you breathe in, chin down towards your chest, lift your upper back up as high as you can towards the ceiling, so you're pretending you're a camel. Feel that nice stretch in your upper back. As you breathe out, drop the chest down and look up. And this is the cat pose. So again, nice and slowly working with the breathing, chin down towards your chest. Lift that upper back up. And then drop the chest down and look up. And let's do 3 more of these, really concentrating on stretching the neck and the upper back. And make sure the movement is happening in your upper back more than your lower back. You're breathing in as you curl down. Breathing out as you change into that cat position. And last one, breathing in. Camel, and breathing out, cat. And back to center. From here we go into what we call the thread and needle. So left hand goes underneath, drop the left shoulder down. Feel that stretch. And return to center. Let's do the same. Left hand goes underneath. Feel that stretch in the middle of your back. And return. And let's repeat 3, working with your breath. 4. And 5. Let's change sides, thread the needle on the right hand goes underneath. And back in. Of course, you need to bend your left elbow as you do this exercise. And you can take that right shoulder all the way down towards the floor as you reach. 2 more. And 1 more. And release. From there, I want you to take your hips back now into the child's pose. Stretch those hands as far as you can. Drop your head down to the mat. From there, you're going to push on your hands and now bring the hips forward. Drop the hips down into the mat, stretching your lower back. We're not holding for long, so just a few seconds in each position. Going back into child's pose, feel that stretch in your lower back. And again, bringing those hips forward, stretching in what we call the cobra stretch. And let's do one more. Take those hips back. And forward. Good. And release. Let's go back in 4-point kneeling, our last exercise. So again, wrists under your shoulders, knees under our hips, straight back, head in line with the spine. Tummy nice and strong as you slide one leg away. I'm starting with the right. I'm keeping the foot on the floor, so I'm really careful that this is level, and then lifting the opposite hand off the floor. I'm holding that for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and changing. So sliding the left leg, keeping the toes on the floor, lift the opposite hand up, hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and return and change. So right leg, left arm. I'm not lifting the leg off the floor on purpose today, to really give you an awareness of what's happening in your back. And back to center and return. So the left foot on the floor, right hand up. And hold for 5. And we're repeating, let's do that one more on each side, sliding the leg, not lifting. It's very easy to feel like you need to rush through the exercises, but believe me, it's really good to stay with the basics. And return, and last one, slide the left, stretch that right hand away, hold for 5. And release. Good work. Okay, turn over on your side. I need to grab a towel. Just a folded towel. And I'm lying down on the side. I'm stretching the left hand away and placing the towel between my hand and the head. Okay, from this position, we're going to bend the lower knee. So in my case, that's the left leg because the right leg is on top. So make sure that you're really nice and comfortable in this position. Starting with the right leg, we're going to lift it off the floor, point the toes forward and back, and then bring that leg up towards your chest, and then stretch it out again. Point the toes, and similarly bring that leg up, and stretch, point the toes. So we're really going to start working this hip joint over here, starting with the right side, pointing the toes, bringing it up and lowering. And it requires a little bit of strength. If you give up, of course, your leg is going to topple over and fall into the floor. So you really need to keep it high on top of the other leg as you lift and lower. And let's do 5 more. Lifting, stretching. 4, 3, 2, 1, and release. Stay in that same position, so this leg is comfortable over here on the floor with the knee bend. I'm lifting the right leg up again, slightly towards the ceiling. And this time I'm going to start doing big circles using the hip joints. Now you really need to be careful here that you don't roll your spine back. So you're still on your side, on your left side, and it's just the hip doing this really nice big circular movement. And let's do 4 more. So I'm going forward, up towards the ceiling, down again. Really controlling that hip movement. Again, don't be tempted to rush through the movement. Slower is better. Good. And release. Okay, I'm going to swap over to the other side. And we do the same. So stretch your right hand underneath. The right knee is bent and on the floor, and the left leg is straight. Starting with the left, lift, flex and point the toes up and down, then bring the leg up, keeping it up as you lower. And repeat, lift, lower, point the toes. And again, lift, lower, point the toes. So the left hip is working because you need to keep it high throughout the whole exercise. Don't let it rest on your other leg. 5. And again, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and rest. Okay, hip circles next. So we're lifting that same leg up and drawing big circles with our hip. Again, make sure it's just the hip movement that's happening, no movement whatsoever in your pelvis or your lower back. And big, slow circles. You can even change the direction of the circle if you want, so you can really open that hip up. 2, 3, 4, 5, and release. Good work. That feels nice on the hip. Okay, and for the next exercise, we are now lying down on our backs. So lie completely flat on your back with the knees bent. We're starting in neutral spine, so let's take a moment to find that. So tilt your pelvis forward and backward a few times, feeling that space underneath your lower back. And then find what we call somewhere in between, which is your neutral. So you should still be able to kind of slide a few fingers in, but it's not too high, but it's not completely flat either. All right, let's start working our tummy. So from there, let's lift the right leg up into tabletop, so knee in line with the hip. Let's place the left foot on tiptoes. And we're now going to alternate. So the right goes down as the left goes up. And let's change. 2, 3, 4, 5, and again 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Let's take a short break. Make sure that you're still in neutral, so you might want to slide your hands under. Again, check. Have you flattened? Have you arched your back? Find your position again. 1 foot on tiptoe, 1 foot on tabletop. And we alternate. Work with your breathing. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and rest. Okay, for the next exercise, we're going to bring both hands shoulder level, palms facing each other. As you breathe in, take your arms back, draw a really big circle along the floor. And as you come closer to your body, lift your head and shoulders, reach. And slowly roll your spine back and repeat. So a big circle back, breathe out, reach. Roll your spine back gently, breathe in. And as you breathe out, lower your hands down, reach, lift your neck and shoulders. And repeat nice and slowly. So slowly take your head down, stretch your hands above your head as you breathe in. And as you breathe out, reach, lift the head and shoulders. And repeat. And you really need to make sure that there's no tension in the neck and shoulders as you lift and as you reach. It's your tummy doing most of the work. And 3 more. And reach. Good. And release. Well done. All right, let's go into the bridging. So from this position, flatten your back into the floor and slowly start lifting the hips 1 vertebra at a time. Hold that position for 5. And then slowly start rolling the spine down. And let's repeat, flatten the back, lift those vertebrae up, 1 vertebra at a time, nice and slowly. Hold for 5 seconds and slowly roll down. And we're doing 3 more. So again, flatten, really feel that there's a lot of movement happening there in your lower spine as you're flattening and lifting. And slowly roll back down. Really important is in this exercise that there's nothing underneath your head, no towels or cushions or pillows. We really need the head to be flat on the floor. Hold for 5 seconds. Slowly roll down. And last one again, flatten the back, push it into the mat before you lift those hips off the floor. And slowly roll down. Good, and release. So let's go back into neutral, so it's not completely flat. And we're lifting the left leg into tabletop. And we're going to do again a hip circle movement, really opening that left hip up, stretching it away and bringing it back up. So we're starting in this 90-degree position. We're going to open outwards, stretch away and bring it back in. So whilst we're doing this exercise, we're doing mobility for the left hip, but you also need to keep an eye on the right knee and make sure that it's not wobbling too much. So your job is to use your tummy muscles and keep that right knee really steady as you're stretching that left hip. Quite challenging, you know, these exercises look easy, but they're not. Again, you should be keeping an eye on this neutral spine, making sure that you're not arching or flattening your back too much. And last one on the left, or whichever side you're working on, and let's change. So I'm working on the right, so starting in tabletop, open that hip out, stretch it away from you, and then bring it back with a flexed knee. And repeat, work with your breathing, preferably breathing out as you stretch. Similarly to the other side, keep an eye on the left knee, make sure it's not too wobbly. And nice and controlled as you're opening that right hip up. Good. And release. Well done. Okay, for the next exercise, we're going to turn over onto your tummy. And now you're going to place your rolled towel under your forehead, like so. And stretch both hands in front of you, little finger on the floor. And really stretch them out. So for the next exercise, you're going to breathe in. And as you breathe out, we're going to lift that right hand off the floor and the head off the towel. Holding for a few seconds. And then lowering down. And repeating on the other side, as you breathe out, lift that hand off the floor, head of the towel, but you're still looking down, very important, and lower. And repeat. So this is quite challenging, really working the shoulder and neck area. And lower. And repeat. Lift. And lower. Press your right hand down into the floor as you lift the left hand off. And rest. Press the left hand down as you lift the right. And keep alternating, nice and slow. And do 2 more on each side. And release. Bring your hands close to your shoulders. Push yourself up. And let's go into the child's pose and really stretch those shoulders and back. Head down on the floor. And take a few deep breaths in this position. Good. And release. We're going to finish with a hip stretch. We call this the pigeon pose. So we're going to bring the right foot across the left. Stretch the left leg away and hold that position. So this really is a nice stretch to open that hip up. So you have 2 options here. You can either stay nice and high in this position, or some people prefer to lie down on the forearms. It doesn't really matter as long as you're opening that right hip. Good. And let's change the legs. So now I'm bringing the left foot across, stretch the right leg away, and again choose whether you want to stay up here or whether you want to lie down on the forearms. Feel the stretch in the left glutes, bum area, and hold. Good, and release. Well done. Hopefully you feel good after that short workout, but we've worked the shoulders, we've worked the legs and the hips a little bit, and we've also done some lovely stretches. Hope you've enjoyed it. Keep on stretching, keep on strengthening, keep on moving. It does wonders of good, and I hope you enjoyed it, and I really hope that we'll see you at the clinic shortly. Take care.